Hey guys, doing a little update here. Still working on the Timberjack, and I know it looks about the same, but I've done a lot of stuff to it, and it's pretty exciting. We're getting really close to starting it up, maybe next day or two. So, as you saw before, the radiator's in. That doesn't look very exciting from there, but I TIG welded a stainless steel tube. A little note to myself there. Came around up here and into the motor for the lower radiator. I tried all sorts of different configurations of trying to go down and under, and this is what I found that works. Top is connected. There is coolant in the radiator. It's not totally topped off because I've got this one and that guy. And I've got a coolant tank off a Super Duty, we're going to mount a little higher up on the cage. It's a little bit of a modern thing, but that should give us a little bit of protection against running the head dry. Having the coolant up higher, easier to monitor. So that's done. And the nose, I'd take that nose off 4 times to get everything in there. It's in place now. I put frame bolts in here. There's one I can't get behind the blade. When I lift it up, I should be able to get to it. There's some hydraulic in the tank. I got the cooler hoses put together into the return line. On this side, you can see it's angled in there. That comes up, that's run back. Everything's in hose wrap, it's done nice. That comes up here into our valve. Oh yeah, nice and tight. We resealed that. Parking brake lever, I had to turn that around so it's free. Locked. I realized before that rod was hitting, and now see, I got clearance, and also I didn't want it released and stabbing me in the knee. So, a little screw up from before. I found my pressure gauge I've been looking for the transmission. I need to plumb that in. Other than that, water temp for the engine's hooked up, temp for the transmission's hooked up, ammeters hooked up, and our engine oil pressure gauge, trying the original one, we'll see if it works, is hooked up. Tach, not connected. The engine stop is connected in the right spot. And we got a key switch on here, all wired up. That's actually out of the bus. So you can see the pump is not in. I got the adapters for it. The pump is now in a box. I was waiting for the adapter. I ordered an aftermarket one and got the runaround for more than a month. And finally, I just ordered the actual Allison part, which was $300 as opposed to the aftermarket that was $30. But that's what happens sometimes. We still have to put new hoses on the winch. This is the one that looks good up top, but it's cracked pretty bad down here. So we'll get 2 new hoses for the winch. The winch gearbox, I drained the oil and refilled it. That actually looked pretty good. So I'm pretty happy about that. Doesn't seem to be leaking. As you can see, it looks like the oil level is actually below the seals. So we'll see how it runs, but the oil looked good. It had a magnetic drain plug, which had some junk, but no chunks. So hopefully that's good. I started grinding out a crack I found just so I wouldn't miss it. There's that, and I'm gonna put some plates on these old repairs. Arch needs a little bit of work. I did pull the fill plug out of the winch. It's almost full to the top. I'm hoping it's not water in the bottom. The brass gear does not look great. I'm gonna see if I can, well, we'll see if it runs and go from there. We may have to get some new gears in here. I have another winch if we have to. It's not the right winch. I'd like to get Hercules on, not just for posterity, but they bolt up nice, they fit. I have a Swede winch off of a Case Skid King, which is supposed to be a good winch. According to the guy I got it from, said it ran great before he took the engine out and put it in something else. It's been sitting for a bit though. Rear axle still needs to be gone through. Cradle is back together, as you guys know. Blade cylinders. I buffed them up. They really need new rods. I need to get in the woods right now though. So we're going to run these to start, and I did take the Porta Power and rip the pins out. That was exciting. I had to heat these and put them back in with a bunch of anti-seize and fresh bolts, so they should be easier to do in the woods. I didn't reseal this one. I did start to reseal the other. I didn't realize that the rods are the same. The tubes are different diameter from the steering cylinder, so I didn't have all the right seals. Hoses I ran a little bit differently, so now instead of having both cylinders go from the cylinder in here, where I actually re-welded these back onto the cylinder, they were broken off and twisted on both of them. Instead of both going up, the left side of the machine comes around under the motor and tees in to the right side and then goes up. So a little different routing, but works better with this motor. You can see they're all wrapped and protected. The air filter is going to go here. I might shift side to side or maybe even up just a little bit. The hood almost fits. It'll need some slight modification. Should look cool. Lights need to be wired up, but that's low priority. I don't know if I got a new fuel filter on there. I got to fill that up. And I will get you in for a first start on this baby. Wiring's all done nice and clean. I got my shut-off switch hidden, so you can reach up in here and turn the power on, shut the power off. A little bit of a don't steal me feature. Battery box, this is just sitting in here. I got some new weldable hinges. Batteries are in there. I made hold down clamps for them. Just made these to bolt the cab down. You'll see that probably next video. Brakes aren't bleeding out all that well. Reservoir, it'll pump up nice. See, that feels pretty good. If I let it sit for a sec, straight to the floor. I've been trying to bleed it out. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. I've got a little bleeder on the top, comes in the bottom, up to the top cylinder and then back down. I think it might be a master. I'll take a look. I think I have another master cylinder kicking around. So that's where we're at here. Big progress. Roll cage is pressure washed and ready to go on. So I think next thing we'll be doing is we'll put the roll cage on. So that way we can go and make a panel that goes from these bosses to the cage. Let's see, the cage comes up here. And on those, I will mount my transmission cooler, which is right there. And I can make the lines for the transmission cooler. And I want to see if I can fit the hydraulic filter housing in there as well. Because before I start it, all I really need to do is I need to make the return hose come back, go to the filter, and from the filter to the valve. And then I need to make the transmission cooler hoses. And really, if I don't put the pump on, I should be able to start it with just the transmission cooler hoses. But can't really fit those till I have this panel in place and the cooler in place. I have the pump and everything, so I'd like to get the hoses made for that. And then the only other hoses to do are this great one, and this one looks good, but the other side of it is really bad for the winch. And that should be all the hoses in the front end. We'll get that front axle put under it. I don't think I quite have time to do that right now, but we'll get the front axle under here, drive shaft in, and hopefully within a couple days we'll be driving this baby. Hope you like the project. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if there's anything on here you're interested in seeing. I usually try to show more detail, but it's been difficult with stuff in the frame. It's hard to get a good camera angle on it. Big fairleads, and ready for it, one of the most exciting things I'm adding, aftermarket pink seat. That's right, it's gonna be sweet. It was a breast cancer fundraiser, so I'm all about supporting that stuff. So I'll have a pink seat and it'll be way more comfortable than the old one. Like, subscribe, comment. Hope you had a good one, and I'll see you soon.